All right, guys, here we are. I'm doing a little something different here today. All right, there I go. If you've had a course with me before, you know how it usually goes. You see me here in the box, my little box here, right? All right, so you see me in my box, you see the books behind me, and you see the slides on the screen. Now, I'm going to try a different tact here. I'm going to try to do something different. To my knowledge, there's only one other course that I do this with. That's the logic course. But what I'm going to try to do here is I'm going to try to pull you into a classroom environment with me as we do this introduction to philosophy course here. Now, I'm also going to try to make that as easy as possible, meaning that you'll still have the slides. You can still follow along on video if you want. Looking at just the slides, you won't see me in the box, but you'll be in the classroom with me, so to speak. And what do I mean by that? Well, for this particular course, and only one other that I know so far that I've done this way, um, is I'm going to record the lectures live in the classroom. You're going to get some student feedback. That may be a little more difficult to hear depending on the type of audio device that you're using to participate in therein. But needless to say, you'll still experience a little more student interaction there, and then also you'll get me thinking a lot more on my feet, so to speak. So if I have a particular question, or if we're going through something that's a little different, you'll hear me having to interact in a slightly different manner with students. I think this can be a very enjoyable thing. One, again, I'm trying to make this as easy as possible so you can do it this way. But I'm also, all you gotta do is let me know, and I'll be happy to direct you to the podcast to where you can actually listen to the lectures as well. So if you are, for instance, working out or exercising, whatever, you still have access to the slides, to the PowerPoints. You can follow that way, but you'll also be able to listen as you go about your day. Now, obviously, I would suggest that if you decide to listen, that you follow along with the PowerPoints. So, personally, this is my suggestion: is that you use those as a supplement if you decide to do that. So you watch the lecture, you listen to the lecture, go along with the PowerPoints there, but then also to kind of help ingrain that, to solidify some of the concepts that we discuss, because it's philosophy, it's obviously deep stuff, right? That you could listen to the podcast to at your own leisure. Now, one of the things that I want you to do in this introductory to philosophy course, one of the things I really want to get in your mind, so to speak, is the the importance of doing philosophy, right? So there are a lot of introductory type courses where you're going to go through a lot of primary source material. You're going to remember a lot of particular names, places, um, main ideas from particular thinkers. We're going to do some of that here too, of course. But what I really want you to do, where I really feel like where I'm passionate about teaching philosophy, is teaching philosophy for the sake of doing it. What now? Let me say it again. I'm not so much concerned that you know a bunch of dates, a bunch of names, a bunch of just one big idea from a particular person, important as that is. I want you to be able to do philosophy. I want to sell you on the idea that philosophy is radically important to your life. Um, that it's not just a bunch of esoteric, abstract, navel gazing, as some have pejoratively put it, but rather, if you have an opinion, if you have a belief about any topic at all, specifically those that matter, which you'll hear me refer to during these future lectures, um, as if you have an opinion on what we call what I like to call cultural hot button topics, right? So if you have a position on abortion, if you have a position on the existence of God, if you have a position on marriage, gender, sexuality, um, even firearms, right? All of these sorts of things, then what's going to be driving your view on that is going to be a lot, if not all, entirely your philosophical outlook and how you're doing philosophy and the principles and methods that you're pulling into how you think about these topics. Again, philosophy is not just sitting around talking about whether or not justice exists in the abstract or whether justice exists as a concrete, right? That'll make sense later. But it's about, what does it even mean to do a just act, right? What does it mean to have a moral position on some particular topic? What does it mean to be moral, right? How do we ground morality? If your culture says something is good for you and my culture says something's good for me, well, then that just makes it right, correct? That makes our moral views correct. If our culture dictates that, right? Actually, that can be very problematic. That's going to be some of the stuff that we delve into in this class, especially in this classroom type setting that I'm going to try to pull you guys into along with me. Again, I just wanted to let you know that the format of this class was going to be a little different this time. Again, if this is your first class with me, this is all you know. It's not different in any shape, form, or fashion, right? But if it's not, it's going to be a little different. It won't be just me in the box with the PowerPoints here. You'll hear the interaction in the classroom. Let me go ahead and say this too. These lectures could be a little different in the sense that depending on where you're taking this course, what you're used to hearing, right? What you're accustomed to hearing. I'm going to speak very frankly with some of these students because, frankly, right, not to overuse terms there, but some of the settings that we'll be in, frank terms and bluntness may be the only language that some of these types of students respond to. And again, I want to be that way because I want to pull all sorts of people groups, demographics, levels of intellect, so to speak. I want them to see the value of philosophy just as much as I do, and just as much as I want to see anybody else see the value of philosophy. Again, whether that be different faiths, whether it be the Orthodox Christian faith, whether it be some other faith, whatever it may be. I want people to see that philosophy is impacting their life. So just be warned that you may, again, specifically from some students, that you may hear some things that you're not maybe accustomed to hearing there. Again, note too that some of our ideas are going to be challenged, right? That's not to say that our ideas are wrong. Of course, it doesn't mean that they're right either, but they're going to be challenged. This is a philosophy course, right? This is an introduction to philosophy, where we're going to be talking about some of the biggest issues that face mankind. We're going to look at topics like truth. We're going to look at topics like, does truth even exist, right? Can we know truth? We're going to look at metaphysical topics like what exists, what is reality composed of? Can we know reality? Which is going to tie into epistemology, which is the theory of knowledge. How do we know? Can we know things, right? Again, metaphysics. Again, don't think of metaphysics like the goofy row of books at the big box bookstore over there with the crystal balls and stuff. We're not talking about silliness. We're talking about metaphysics, ontology, the study of being, what is real, right? And then within that topic, we're going to talk about philosophy of religion, specifically arguments for and against the existence of God. We may go into some ethical considerations. Now, they will come up during the course of the semester, right? During the course of this class, depending on the format we're using here, semester or class, whatever the format may be. But I may save most of the ethical considerations for just our course on ethics, right? But they may come up periodically here and there anyway. But we're going to talk about some big issues, and I just want you to be aware of that. Again, so having said that, aware of the format change, right? Slightly different format, see how this works, pulling you into the classroom with me, giving you an option as far as obviously the videos with your PowerPoints, but then also maybe even the podcasting to use as a supplement, right? You can listen to the audio of these later at your own convenience. And then also too, just be aware of some things that we may not necessarily be used to in this particular environment. Worship students and things of that nature. So with that said, see you next time.